Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Welcome back. Hello to all my new subscribers. Hey, new subbies. Make sure you have subscribed to the channel if you're new here. If you have not, go and do so. Make sure you also like, comment, and share. And for my old subscribers, I love you. Thank you for returning. And make sure you're liking, you're commenting, and you're sharing on the content. Right? So let's get into this Dear Deidre. Before I get started, let me just say today is Dear Deidre's second year anniversary. I remember when I first started this. I remember when I did my first Dear Deidre. I'm still actually looking at letters from 2021. That's how much love and how much of an outpour of love I got from folks, just wanting my input and my advice on certain things. So thank you guys. Thank you so much for trusting me. I'm still responding. I'm still doing what I need to do. We're 2 years in. Do not stop. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. So let's get into the new Dear Deidre because I left you guys a little snippet on my last video and y'all was cursing me for Phil saying, when are you going to get into that? So let's get into it, right? As you all know, it's called Since We Snitching. Dear Deidre, I'm a 26-year-old woman who was pregnant with my first baby. My baby father and I have been besties since we were toddlers. We tried dating when we were in high school and that didn't work out. Since then, we've been cool. In recent years, we both had serious relationships, but nothing that lasted more than 2 or 3 years. At the moment, I am single, but I recently found out my child's father is back with an ex and she is pregnant as well. I confronted him about their relationship because even though we started sleeping together periodically in between our relationships, we both agreed on having this baby, which I assumed would eventually lead into a relationship. I had no idea that he was still dealing with his ex, and I definitely didn't know she was pregnant. When I confronted him, we got into a huge altercation because, according to him, he stressed the fuck out about expecting 2 babies by 2 different women that he loves equally at the same time. I never really rocked with homegirl, but we weren't enemies either. But according to our situation, our children are going to be siblings. I have half siblings that I was raised with from birth that I know and love and would love for our children to have that same opportunity. My only issue is I love my child's father and could see myself in a relationship with him. I don't know how the other woman feels about him or how amicable she'll be about this whole situation. And I feel like she already knows. I'm pregnant and I don't have time to be stressed, but this newfound information has my anxiety at an all-time high. What should I do? Signed, Since We're Snitching. Oh my goodness, oh my goodness, oh my goodness. I got a lot of feedback from my Dear Deidre listeners because this Dear Deidre letter sounds like a rebuttal to a Dear Deidre letter I got right before this one. And I won't lie, and I can't deny it, just like my listeners, I felt the same, like, what's going on here, right? And what really keyed it in for me, I'll be honest with you guys, was it had really nothing to do with, let me not say it had nothing to do with it. It wasn't only solely sold on a letter. It was more so about the Since We Snitching piece. Because I felt like when the other young lady sent her letter in, for whatever reason, I felt like this person was compelled to do the same. But again, I haven't gotten feedback from either one of those letter senders to know if one is talking about the other. So I'll just go off a blind faith here and say, let me just judge what I've been told in the letter, right? So let's start from here. So from judging from what I hear in the letter, right? You and this male friend have known each other for a very long time. You guys have a very good relationship. And during the time of y'all having that relationship, you guys started to take it from platonic to romantic. And not meaning romance, but sexual, right? And it seems like that might have started early on, but then you said that didn't work out as a relationship. So y'all didn't carry on with the titles and things of that nature, but periodically you guys did continue to have sex, right? And of course, that's a choice on the part of both of you. right? You didn't say here you had to twist his arm. You didn't say he had to twist yours. It sounds like you guys both have free will to say, listen, even though we can't be a couple, we want to continue to rock and roll and rock and roll. Which really and truly, most young adults, if I'm guessing, because you said you're 26 years old, which qualifies you to be a young adult, most young adults do that. You know, they say, listen, we are, especially women. Women are more so on a page of, listen, I'm not trying to accumulate a lot of bodies. I know you. I enjoy sleeping with you. So how about we let this rock and we let this roll until I get a man, right? So I could see, I know that women do it because I'm guilty of it, right? You know, I have done in my past, hung on to old situations that were no longer cemented in stone because I just didn't feel like going out and trying to navigate a new situation and accumulate a new notch under my belt. And hey, that person might not be the person for me, you know, when I could just stick with what I know until I meet a person who I feel might be for me. So I could see your perspective with doing so. I could see his perspective with doing so because guess what? It's Gucci, you know, and it might be some good coochie. You know what I'm saying? So I could see why you both made that choice. Um, I don't know. This is sticky area. This is gray area. This is muddy waters. This is always a very, very, very hard thing to have conversation about. Myself, I'm fortunate enough to have a male best friend that I have a strictly platonic relationship with, meaning we are solely friends. Really and truly, we're family. We're family. I view him as a brother, as if he was one of my two brothers. So we've never had to kind of navigate the muddy waters of, oh, I might like you, oh, you might like me, oh, we might have stared into each other's eyes, or we might have secretly slept together last night. Yeah, no. And normally for any man, because I do have quite a few homeboys that I consider my bros, any of those men, we've never had any romantic anything going on with us. We've never made dirty jokes. We never touched inappropriately. I've never sat on your lap. You never touched my butt or my boob. Like, it just doesn't go there. Because I feel like it's always muddy waters when you're trying to say, hey, I just want to be cool and besties, McSesties, and you're my bro and I'm your sis, but I also want to sometimes have sex with you. Right? Because sex comes with emotions, especially for women. Now, I know a lot of times men would try to say they don't care about sex and none of that matters to them and so on and so forth. The reason why I'm going to say this sex was meaningful to the both of you because the both of you could have went and slept with someone else. I'm pretty sure you said he has an ex. He has other women he could have sex with. I'm pretty sure you dated other men, which you said in your letter. So y'all could have utilized anybody and maintained just sharp platonic friendship. Y'all chose one another. Y'all chose one another. Y'all chose one another, right? And I think in choosing one another, it was because, you know, to a certain degree, this is not just about sex. This is about, you know, a heightened emotion and heightened feelings and a deeper connection than I share with anybody else. That's why I'm choosing to say, I'm going to say, forget about all the other people I sleep with. I'll just call back and deal with you. On top of that, what you said in the letter was that you and him agreed that this baby was an equal decision to have. Now, I mean, I'm not saying this is right, but I know plenty of men that have gotten women pregnant that they don't give a damn about, and they're just having a strictly straight up and down, I'm screwing you relationship, and that person has come and said, hey, you slipped up and I missed a period, and he is like, sweetheart, either one or two things are going to happen. Either you're going to go and up the baby, or I'm going to for you. You know, I've seen men go to that level. Is it right? I'm not saying it is, but they show so much anger and disdain for the fact that that person is pregnant that they like, listen, I'm not keeping this boy baby because he's a nut. You said that you guys sat down and made a mutual decision that this would be the best thing to do. That's the second mutual decision that you guys made that involves anything that kind of looks like a relationship. So not only did we both mutually agree that we should continue to sleep together, but then after we sleep together, we also mutually agreed that we should have a baby. So the part where you said you assumed that this would progress into a relationship, I'm kind of assuming the same thing, right? So I get that. I get that. I get that 100%. The only thing that I will say about men and women, and I've seen this, straight up in my face, and I've also been a victim of it and guilty of it, right? One thing I learned about men, they will show you who they are through their actions. They will tell you whatever you need to hear, but they will show you who they are through their actions, right? And whatever you show me is what I'm inclined to believe, because if what you show me and what you tell me is not in alignment, then what should I choose to believe? I have to believe what you did, because that's what affects us. What you told me didn't matter. What you did is what affects us. And I think with this gentleman, I think that honesty may be, you know what? Let me not even say that. I don't think honesty was an issue for him. I think because of y'all's setup, he didn't believe he owed you an explanation about anything. So I see the part where you said, well, he didn't let me know he was dealing with his ex. I think that was the friend in you feeling like, wow, I didn't even know you were still kicking it with Shorty. But I think that he also is aware that, yes, we're friends, but we're also sleeping together. So why would I share information with you about someone else that I'm sleeping with? And that's what I mean about blurring the lines of friendships and romantic relationships, right? Of course, I'm not going to tell you about another woman that I'm sleeping with, because I'm not just your friend. I'm sleeping with you as well. So I feel like that's why he didn't share that with you. And it sounds like you're in love with this man. It sounds like you're in love with this man. It sounds like you are in love with this man. And it sounds like you want a family with this man. And now we are at the rock and the hard place, because you don't know if he wants a family with you. And you also don't know what he wants with the other person. This is sticky. I also have some questions surrounding what you said about the other young lady, because you did say in your letter that you and the young lady, y'all wasn't like bestie McSesties, but you know who she is, and yada yada yada. How does it work when you are and this is just for you in particular, since we snitching, how does it work for you and his female interest? Because if you're saying that, listen, that's my friend, I love him to death, we grew up together, yada yada yada, if that was strictly platonic, whenever he brought a woman around, it wouldn't pose any threat to you. You wouldn't feel a way towards her, unless she's just a straight up nasty bitch. But it would be fine by you, because that's who he's dating, and he's my friend, and I love him, so I want to respect that. But if you're friends with him and you're sleeping with him, one layer is, yeah, that's my friend, that's who you're dating, and I want you to be happy. But the other layer is, I'm fucking you, and I want to be happy as well. And me seeing you with this bitch does not make me happy. So I wonder why, you and her didn't connect. I also wonder, have you connected with any of the women that he dealt with on a romantic level aside from you? Because if he's bringing women around and introducing you as a friend, of course, initially folks will take that at face value. Okay, that's your homegirl. But if you're sleeping with him, where's the differentiation come in at, where it's like, I'm your homegirl, but because I'm screwing you, that's off limits? Like, how does that work? How does that whole thing work? But you know what? That's null and void about the past. Let's talk about the future. So now here we are. Here you are. Here she is. Here he is. Right? I'm very concerned for this situation. I'm not going to lie. I'm very concerned for this situation. And I'll tell you why. I'm concerned because in one breath, you're like, listen, I want to be amicable. I want our kids to know each other. I want to. Oh, I didn't even think of it. So you want to have like a polyamorous situation? Because if you think about what you said, and you can let me know if I'm wrong if you ever respond. Wait, that a piece of lint in my ear? You can let me know if you ever respond. What you're saying is you would like to be with him. You want your kids to grow up together. So are you interested in like a three-way love affair? Because that's almost what it sounds like from the gist of your letter. Like you would be open to, hey, we can rock and roll and make this thing work. Is that what you want? Is that what you want? And if so, if that is the road you're trying to go down, is that what's going to make you happy? Because I've seen I've actually done healing heart sessions for 5 sets of polyamorous relationships. Am I saying that right? Yes, polyamorous. And what I've seen is that, folks initially start off a certain way and we agree to this and you should be down with that. And then I also see things go left field because maybe somebody doesn't want that anymore. Maybe somebody feels like somebody is getting more of the attention. Maybe somebody gets pregnant. Maybe somebody is doing something without one of them. Like it's a whole lot of, rules, regs, feelings, and other things inserted into those situations. But what it sounds like is when you expressing like how you want your kids to kind of congregate, which is the right thing to do whether you're polyamorous or not, but also how much you love him and want to be with him. My other question is, would you be okay if he wanted to be with her too and it was like a threesome love affair? That's something that I would have to ask in our healing heart session. Again, I would have to ask because of the way you're explaining in this letter, are you interested in the polyamorous relationship? Right? And if not, and you're saying, well, I love him, we agreed on this baby, and I want to be with him. If that is the case, what are you prepared to do if he says that I love you, I want that baby, but I want to be with her? Will you be okay? Will you still be amicable like you're saying? Will you still be able to let your young people coexist? Will you still love him the way you love him now? How would that work? Right? And that's something that I think you need to think about because something that you said in your letter was that he said, I have 2 women pregnant at the same time that I love equally. So if he loves the both of you, then he may not be interested in just solely being in a relationship with you. And not because he doesn't love you and things of that nature, because he said he did, but he also loved this other person. So it may become a ping pong back and forth thing if it's allowed. Are you interested in allowing him to ping pong and back and forth because of your love for him? Is that something that you want your child witnessing? Is that something that you think you can conform to? If the other young lady is shutting down any form of a polyamorous relationship and she says, I just want him to be my man, and then he goes over there, will you be okay? Will that cause an onset of emotions that you won't be able to handle because you just had a brand new baby and you might be in postpartum? Might. I pray, that's not the situation. You know what I'm saying? So these are things that you have to prepare yourself for because like you said, you guys got into a huge altercation when you confronted him about this. So I don't know how effective he will be when it's time to make decisions about this relationship because he already losing his damn mind when you confront him about what's taking place at the moment. What's going to happen when the babies arrive? What are you prepared for? Do you know his family? Have you expressed to them that that's his baby you're pregnant with? As far as you and the other young lady, this is what I will say. But I will say this as a person who has not had any children. I will say this as a person who is no one's baby's mother. I will say this as a person who's never been in a polyamorous situation or a 3-way love affair where me and another person was pregnant. And I will also say this just outside looking in, right? Because this is your situation. Personally, I don't know it well enough. I'm just going off for one letter. What I will say is this. At the end of the day, if you can't salvage a friendship, if you can't salvage a romantic relationship, you have to be in the best health mentally and physically for your baby. And it sounds like right now, before the baby has even arrived, you've been placed in a lot of stressful situations. So if we were in an Operation Hill 100 Hearts one-on-one session and I was having a conversation with you, because I've been in one-on-one sessions with pregnant women and I've guided them all the way to labor and delivery when they were having a lot of mishaps with the person that they were pregnant by. And I always was able to share with that person, my dear, right now is about that child. And while it's about that child, it has to be about you, because that child will flourish if you're not healthy. So confronting him about the other young lady, confronting the other young lady, worrying, caring, or even thinking about the other baby. I do know that definitely is the inevitable, but I would suggest to you to pray every day and every night for God to help you focus on your baby and your health. Because if you continue to focus on somebody else, someone else, something else, it will drive you crazy. You don't have control over others. So, my dear, you have to focus on yourself. And in turn, that will make you focus on your baby that's to come. Again, do I want dad to be an intricate part of the baby's life and assist you and you have a wonderful rest of your pregnancy and do everything you need to do? 100%. I love healthy pregnancies, 100%. But in any event that there's some stipulation that prevents him from doing what he needs to do, mama love, you need to do what you need to do. And that's irregardless to what anybody else is doing around you. You are a mother now. You are a mother the moment that pregnancy test says positive. You are a mother now. So you have to think as such. And worrying about that situation that involves other people who you have no control over, that doesn't benefit you or your baby. So right now, my dear, I encourage you to focus on you. Focus on you. Worry about the relationship between the kids, the relationship between you and her, him and her, you and him, that three-way love affair, the polyamorous, the triangle. You worry about all of that when your baby is healthy, born, and you're mentally stable. Right now and for the next maybe about year or two, it needs to be all about you and your brand new baby. Okay? And you need to stand up tall in motherhood and do what you need to do. What everybody else doing is none of your business. Okay, so I hope and pray that I was able to provide some insight, because again, I'm not a mom. So I will not sit up here and pretend like I know what it feels like to carry a baby to full term, to be pregnant by somebody, and all the, ins and outs that comes with having a baby. I haven't gotten there yet. Praise God in the future to do so. But in any event, we all meet obstacles along the way. And, we have to be healthy enough to handle those things and kind of give the rest to God. Right? Because if not, you find yourself in a predicament where you're unhealthy and in turn you're making your baby unhealthy. And that doesn't even have to mean physically. That could be socially and emotionally and spiritually because you're just not in the right headspace. You cannot focus on the other young lady. You cannot focus on the dad. You have to focus on yourself and the health and the well-being of your baby. Okay, so again, if this is a three-way love affair that I'm familiar with, because I got a letter prior to, shout me a holler. In any event, happy 2-year anniversary to dear Deidre. I work my tail off to respond to these letters sincerely and compassionately because I am not Jesus Christ, so who am I to judge? I just try to lend some feedback that will help folks make it through. I love you guys for tuning in. I love you guys for sending your letters. I appreciate you. I will keep continuing to answer them. And make sure you like, comment, and share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I will see you guys at the motherfucking top, okay?